This quick Vinyasa flow is designed to stretch, tone, and challenge the entire body. Let's start in a comfortable seated position. Bring one foot in front of the other. Relax through the hip creases. Close the eyes and tune into your yogi breath. Deep inhale through the nose and a long, deep exhale through the nose. Find length through your spine, sitting up a little bit taller. And again, deep inhale through the nose, feeling the rise. And deep exhale through the nose. Take the next few breaths on your own, just getting in tune with your mind and body and connecting. And then blink the eyes open and make your way into a tabletop position on all fours, aligning shoulders directly above wrists, hips directly above knees. We'll start to warm up the spine with some rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling into cow, we'll sink the belly towards the ground, roll the shoulders back, gaze forward. Exhale, curl everything and curl the spine towards the sky, gaze in towards the belly. Inhale into cow pose, arching the spine. Exhale, cat pose, curl it in. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Really use the core in your transitions. Inhaling again into cow pose, sink the belly, gaze forward. Exhale, cat pose, curl everything in, gazing in. Inhale again, coming into cow pose, arch the spine. Exhale, curl the spine, reaching it towards the sky, cat. The next inhale brings us back into neutral tabletop. We extend the left leg out long behind us, coming onto the toes. The right fingertips come forward as a kickstand. And on the next inhale, we'll lift. So reaching in opposite directions into our bird dog pose. The right fingertips are reaching even farther forward. The left toes are reaching back. Use the core to stabilize. Flex your back foot. Inhale. And on the exhale, we'll bring it back down. Neutral tabletop. Setting up for the other side, we'll take the right toes back, left fingertips forward, stabilize, and on the next inhale, lift up, extending in opposite directions. Left fingertips reach forward, right toes reach back, flexing through the right foot. Take a long, deep inhale through the nose, and on the exhale, release down into tabletop. From here, we're going to take the knees out wide, toes together, sit back onto the heels, coming into child's pose. So the arms reach out long, the forehead rests on the ground, feeling a gentle lengthening in the spine. Take a deep inhale and a long, deep exhale to release. Child's pose is a place to surrender. So if at any point during class you need to take a break, mentally, physically, whatever it may be, remember that child's pose is always there for you. It's always an option. On the next inhale, lift your head, emerging out of child's pose, and we're going to start to slither our way forward into our cobra pose. So we're slowly transitioning through tabletop to the front of the mat, lowering the torso down to the ground, untucking the toes, coming onto the tops of the feet. The hands are firmly planted on either side of the chest. We roll the shoulders back, elbows reach in towards one another. And on the next inhale, we start to lift the head, lift the torso, coming into cobra. Exhale, roll back down, planting the forehead. Inhale to rise back up, lifting up. Exhale to fold again. This time we have the option of coming into our full upward dog pose. On the inhale, we lift. Keep rolling the shoulders back, extending the arms straight. Elongate through the collarbones. And on the next exhale, we'll find our way back into child's pose. This time the knees are a bit more together. Just a nice counter pose. From here, we'll make our way into our first downward dog pose. We'll lift the hips up and back, straightening the arms, straightening the legs as much as possible, while trying to reach the chest closer to the thighs. Start to pedal out the feet, just taking some time to open up And then find a stationary downward dog again, extending the legs straight, heels reaching towards the ground. And then start to walk your feet towards your hands until you find yourself in forward fold at the top of the mat. We'll spend a few breaths here, opening up through the back side of the body. Just let the head hang heavy, releasing the neck. And then grasp opposite elbows and rock side to side, taking a slight bend in the knees. Deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the nose. Then release the arms towards the ground, and on the next inhale, we'll rise all the way up to stand. Arms reach up overhead. We'll bring the palms to touch overhead. Take a deep inhale to lengthen. And on the exhale, we'll side bend to the right. Start to swivel the chest open towards the sky, maybe even gazing up. And then the next inhale brings us back through center again, and then we'll side bend over to the left on the exhale. Swivel the chest open towards the sky, and then use the core to bring you back through center again. Exhale over to the right, back through center and over to the left. Inhale to come back through center again. Exhale to fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, pressing palms into shins with straight arms and a flat back. Exhale to fold back in. Plant the palms and step back into your plank pose on the next inhale. And on the next exhale, we're very slowly going to lower in toward chaturanga, elbows hug in towards the ribs. And inhale, upward dog. Exhale, find your way into downward dog. Your first full vinyasa. Lift the right leg to the sky into your three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, and then square the hips back off. Sweep the right knee in towards the nose, really curl the spine up. And then exhale, lift the right leg back into three-legged dog. Inhale, sweep the right knee in again. This time it hovers to the outside of the right elbow. Exhale, back into three-legged dog. Inhale, bringing right knee to the outside of the left elbow this time. Hug it in. And then we're going to extend the right leg out to that left side, coming onto the blade of the right foot, swiveling the left heel down to the right side. You can heel toe that right foot a little bit higher towards the top of the mat if you want, and then lift the left arm towards the sky. Reach the hips higher, gazing up. Deep inhale through the nose. On the exhale, we'll plant the left palm looking down, swiveling the back toes forward. Use the core to lift that right leg back into your downward dog. Lift your right leg into three-legged dog on the next inhale. On the exhale, sweep it forward, planting the right foot in between the hands. Inhale to rise all the way up to stand. Arms reach up overhead into our high lunge. So we want that 90-degree bend in the front leg, and we're extending as much as possible through the back leg. Take a deep inhale to lengthen. On the exhale, bring the palms to touch at heart center. Inhale to lift back up again. Lengthen, and on the exhale we'll twist over to the right side, hooking left elbow to the outside of the right knee. For every inhale, lengthen a bit more through the spine all the way through the crown of the head, and for each exhale, twist a little bit deeper. For a more challenging twist, extend the arms in opposite directions, so the left hand will plant to the outside of the right foot, right hand reaches up towards the sky. The gaze follows the right hand. And on the exhale, we'll plant both hands to the inside of the right foot. So maybe you'll need to heel toe that right foot out just a little bit to the right edge of the mat. Coming into our lizard pose. We'll hold here for one deep inhale. And on the exhale, lower the back knee to the ground. Make sure that that right knee isn't splaying out past the right ankle. Keep it in line. And then tuck the back toes if they aren't already, and start to inch the back toes forward. until you feel like you can safely step the back foot forward into a wide-legged forward fold. The toes are slightly turned out, and on the next inhale, we'll lift all the way up to stand, arms reach up overhead. And on the exhale, we're going to sink into our yogi squat. So sink the hips deeply, bending the knees. Once you're in your squat, press the arms into the knees and the knees back into the arms, pressing palms firmly into one another, gazing forward, getting long through the spine. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, release the palms to the ground, staying in your squat. Walk the left palm as far to the left as possible while still keeping the left arm to the inside of the left leg. From there, start to lift the right arm towards the sky, gazing up past the right fingertips. You can either stay there, or for more of a challenge, start to work your way into a bind. So the left thumb will turn down, we'll bend the left elbow, reaching the left hand behind the left leg. The right arm then bends, reaching behind the back, and maybe right fingertips, left fingertips come to clasp. Exhale, unclasp, unwind, coming back into your yogi squat. This time the right hand plants and we walk it out as far to the right as possible. Left arm reaches towards the sky, lengthening. And if you want to go into that bind, start to bend the right elbow, reaching the hand behind the right leg, and then the left elbow bends, reaching the arm down and around the back. And maybe the fingers come to clasp into your bind. Exhale to unbind and untwist, and lift the hips, straighten the legs into your forward fold. Turn the toes to face forward. Inhale to rise all the way up to stand, arms reaching up overhead. Exhale to fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift into a flat back. Exhale, fold in, plant the palms, step back into your plank on the inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. This time we'll lift the left leg into our three-legged dog. Start to bend the knee, open the hip, and then square the hips back off, and then bring the left knee in to touch the nose, curl the spine towards the sky. Exhale back into your three-legged dog. Inhale, left knee to the outside of the left elbow. Exhale, three-legged dog. Inhale, left knee to right elbow. Hold it here, and then drop the left foot over to the right side, extending it out farther and up. Back heel swivels down. We reach the right arm up. Lift the hips a little higher towards the sky. Fallen triangle pose. On the exhale, we'll plant the right palm, swivel the back toes forward, lift the left leg into our three-legged dog, and then sweep it forward in between the hands, lifting up into high lunge on the left side this time. Arms reaching up overhead, lengthening. Make sure you have that 90-degree bend in the front leg. Inhale to reach up even higher. Exhale, bring the palms to touch at heart center. Inhale, reaching up again, lengthening, and on the exhale, twist over to the left side, hooking right elbow to the outside of the left knee. For every inhale, lengthen a little more through the spine, and on the exhale, twist a little bit deeper. For more of a challenge, you have the option to expand the arms, so planting the right hand to the outside of the left foot, reaching the left arm to the sky, gazing up past the left fingertips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower the left hand, bring both palms to the inside of the left foot, coming into lizard pose. So again, you may need to heel toe that left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Inhale, find length all the way from the right heel, through the leg, through the spine, through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, lower the back knee down to the ground. Start to inch the back foot forward until you feel comfortable enough to step the back foot forward into forward fold. Hanging heavy, we'll take a deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale. On the next inhale, plant your left fingertips to the middle upper portion of your mat, bend the left knee, lift the right arm to the sky. Gaze past the top fingertips for a twist. If you'd like to take a bind, go ahead and drop your raised arm behind your back. Start to wiggle the right fingertips around the left hip crease, And then work your left hand between your legs, bend the elbow, and lift the forearm up towards the right fingertips. Maybe your fingertips or the entire palm will come to clasp. Keep working your chest open to that right side and swiveling it towards the sky. On the next exhale, unbind, making your way back into your forward fold. Plant the right fingertips and bend the right knee this time, lifting the left arm to the sky. If you're choosing to bind, go ahead and start to enter by dropping that top arm over the back and then taking the bottom arm through the legs and then clasping hands or fingers. Gaze up past the top shoulders, swiveling the chest open. And on the next exhale, unbind, coming back into forward fold. Heel toe the feet together until they're about hip distance apart. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms reaching up overhead. Exhale to fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, press palm into shins, flat back. Exhale, fold back in, plant the palms, step back into plank on the inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Lift the right leg into your three-legged dog and then sweep the knee forward, planting the right foot in between the hands. Swivel the back heel down, rise up into warrior two. Arms come to a T. We gaze out over the front fingertips. The front leg is at a 90-degree bend. On the next exhale, flip the front palm, reversing the warrior, reaching back, getting long through the right side body. And then use your core to transition into side angle. Right elbow comes to right knee, left arm reaches up and forward. And then exhale, find your way into reverse warrior again, reaching back. Inhale, side angle. Reaching forward, finding length through the left side body. And then lift back into your warrior two, straighten the front leg. We'll make our way into triangle so the hips shift back, the torso shifts forward. Keeping the hips open, we'll tip the torso down, right arm reaches down, left arm reaches up. Gaze up past the top fingertips, keep swiveling the chest open. On the exhale, we'll slightly bend through the front knee, drop the lifted hand to the ground, swivel the back toes forward, and then step the back foot forward about halfway. So we're coming into our pyramid pose. Both feet are firmly planted on the ground, toes facing forward. The hips are trying to square this time, so the left hip is drawing forward as the right hip is drawing back. We should really feel an intense stretch. Taking a twist from here, we'll plant the left fingertips, reach the right arm up, gaze up past the top fingertips. Feel free to bring a block under that grounded hand if you need to prop the pose up a little. On the exhale, we'll bring the right fingertips to the ground, walk them out a bit, about a foot in front of your right foot. We're going to make our way into half moon. Lift the left leg, open the hips, rotating the left toes outward, lifting the left arm to the sky. Let your core steady the pose, really engage through both legs, and then start to rotate your gaze upwards. And on the exhale, bring it all back down into forward fold. Inhale to rise all the way up to stand, arms reaching up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift into your flat back. Exhale, fold back in. Plant the palms, step back into plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And finally, exhale, downward dog. Lift the left leg into three-legged dog. And then sweep it through, planting the foot in between the hands, rising up warrior two. So the back heel swivels down, arms come to a T. We're bending 90 degrees in the front leg. Evenly distribute the weight between both feet. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, reverse your warrior, reaching that left arm up and then back, elongating through the left side body. Use the core to bring you back through your warrior two and then into your side angle. Left elbow comes to left knee, right arm reaches up and forward. And then reverse it back into your reverse warrior. And then forward again into your side angle, finding length all the way from your back heel up through your top hand. Use the core to bring the torso back up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. We'll make our way into triangle pose. So the hips shift back, torso reaches forward, and then we tip the torso down. Right arm reaching towards the sky, gaze past the top fingertips. Keep swiveling that right hip back, opening the hips more. On the exhale, look down, drop the top hand to the mat, step the back foot halfway forward into our pyramid pose. So we're just letting the head and the torso hang heavy here, feeling an intense hamstring stretch. And then go ahead and plant the right fingertips, lifting the left arm to the sky for a twisted pyramid pose. And we start to gaze up past the top fingertips. From here, drop the left hand about a foot in front of the left foot, and then lift the right leg into your half moon pose. The right hand reaches up towards the sky, hips are actively opening, and we start to work our gaze up past the top fingertips. Deep inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, bring everything back down into your forward fold. Inhale to rise all the way up to stand. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back into your plank position. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. With the palms firmly planted, spread the fingers wide and start to walk your feet in a little bit closer towards the hands, maybe just a couple of inches. And we're going to start to lower into our dolphin pose. So you can either lower one elbow at a time down to the ground or lower both simultaneously down to the ground, which is going to be more challenging. But you want to keep the elbows in line with the wrists. Once you get there, just try to push your chest a little bit closer towards your thighs like you would in your downward dog pose. We'll come out of the pose the same way that we got into it, so you're either going to simultaneously straighten both elbows or lift one arm at a time into downward dog. From here, drop both knees to the ground. We'll find puppy pose, so keep hips stacked above the knees, walk the arms out long, and start to melt the chest towards the ground, letting the forehead rest on the ground if that's possible. Deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the nose. And then slowly rise out of the pose, coming into a seated position. We'll make our way into cow face pose. So first we'll bring the left leg to the ground, bending at the knee. Bring the heel right outside of the right hip. And then we're going to start to stack the right leg on top. So we're actually going to stack right knee above left knee. And we'll start to bring the right heel to the outside of the left hip. Inhale, lift the left arm up towards the sky. And on the exhale, twist over to the right side, hooking left hand to the outside of the right leg. You can prop the right fingertips behind you for extra support and a little added twist. And then slowly untwist, using the core to bring you back through center again. And we'll set up cow face pose on the other side, so reversing our leg position, this time stacking left knee right on top of right knee. And then bringing the heels in closer towards the hips. Inhale, this time we'll lift the right arm towards the sky, and on the exhale, twist over to the left side, hooking right arm to the outside of the left leg. You can use the left fingertips as a prop behind you. For every inhale, lengthen a little bit more. For every exhale, twist a little deeper, maybe even gazing over that left shoulder. And then slowly untwist, coming back through center again. Going into some final core work, we'll bend the knees, plant the feet, extend the arms out long, and then lift the feet off of the ground. Let the torso slightly lean back into our boat pose. Take a deep inhale through the nose, bring the palms to touch at heart center, and on the exhale, we'll straighten the legs, lower the legs and the torso just hovering above the ground. Hold here, inhale, and then exhale, release. Bend the knees again, bringing the soles of the feet to the ground, and just start to windshield wiper the legs back and forth, taking knees to each side. If you want to linger in your twists, feel free to do so. Releasing the lower back, remembering the breath. And And then hug the knees in towards the chest. Rock side to side. And then lift the heels towards the sky, straightening the legs and flexing the feet. Bring the palms to the ground on either side of the hips. Inhale. And on the exhale, very slow and controlled, we're going to lower the legs down to the ground. Keep the body stiff, use the entire core. Once you get there, we're just setting up for final Shavasana. Let the feet separate about 2 feet apart. Turn the palms so that they're facing up. Close the eyes. And let the breath and the body and the mind just go on autopilot here. Letting all of the energy that you just worked up just dissipate. And just be for these last few moments. And then wiggle the fingers and the toes. Roll over onto one side. And then push your way up into a seated position, the same one that we started class in, except this time you're going to put the opposite foot in front. This may feel a little weird, but it'll help balance the energy. What we do on one side, we should do on the other. So let the eyes remain closed. Take a long, deep inhale through the nose, bringing the palms to heart center, feeling the rise of the chest. And then open the mouth and audibly exhale it all out. One last time, taking a deep inhale. Open the mouth, exhale, letting it go. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.